fortress overlooks the sea, stones tell tales, waves whisper history. Croatia isn't just a country, it's a living postcard, a timeless masterpiece blending ancient heritage with dazzling natural wonders. Take the audience into Dubrovnik, the pearl of the Adriatic. Describe the old city walls, Stratton Street, terracotta rooftops, Game of Thrones filming sites, local cafes, and the magical glow of sunset over the Adriatic. Highlight its UNESCO World Heritage status and cultural heartbeat. Imagine standing on top of ancient stone walls as the golden Adriatic sun reflects off red-tiled rooftops, while the sound of the sea echoes in the distance. Beneath your feet, centuries of history are carved into marble streets polished smooth by generations. This isn't a movie set, this is real. This is Dubrovnik, the pearl of the Adriatic, one of the most breathtaking cities in the world. Croatia may be a land of endless wonders, but if there is one place that captures the heart instantly, it is here. And once you see it, you'll never forget it. Dubrovnik is not just a city. It is a living masterpiece, a blend of timeless architecture and vibrant modern life. As you walk through Pile Gate into the old town, you feel as though you've stepped into another era. The Stradun, the city's main street, glimmers in the sunlight with its smooth limestone pavement, framed by Baroque buildings and Gothic palaces. Cafes spill onto the streets with the aroma of coffee and freshly baked pastries, while street musicians fill the air with soft melodies. It feels cinematic because in many ways, it is. Dubrovnik has been the backdrop for countless films and series, from historical epics to Game of Thrones, where it famously became King's Landing. Yet no screen can ever match the overwhelming beauty of seeing it with your own eyes. The city walls, stretching nearly 2 kilometers around the old town, are Dubrovnik's most iconic treasure. Towering high above the turquoise waters, these medieval fortifications were built to protect the city, but now offer visitors some of the most dramatic views in Europe. Walking along them, you see both sides of Dubrovnik. On one side, the Adriatic Sea sparkling endlessly into the horizon. On the other, the maze of narrow alleys, hidden courtyards, and vibrant markets that make up the heart of the city. Every turn reveals a new perspective, whether it's the spire of the Franciscan monastery, the grand dome of the Dubrovnik Cathedral, or the charming balconies covered with flowers. But Dubrovnik is not frozen in the past. Beyond its heritage, it pulses with life and energy. At night, the city transforms into a glowing jewel. Lanterns light up the cobblestones, locals gather in lively taverns, and the sound of laughter drifts across the piazzas. Seafood restaurants serve freshly caught fish and octopus, paired with Croatian wines that rival the best in Europe. If you venture to the harbor, you can watch boats sail across the shimmering water, their lights twinkling under the stars. And if you're lucky enough to witness a Dubrovnik sunset from the top of Mount Cinder, where the city lies beneath you like a golden jewel, it's a memory that will stay etched in your soul forever. Yet, Dubrovnik is more than beauty. It is resilience. Over centuries, the city has endured wars, earthquakes, and sieges. But it always rises again. Walking these streets, you can feel the pride of a people who preserve their culture, language, and traditions against all odds. Every stone here has a story to tell, from the medieval Republic of Ragusa that thrived on trade and diplomacy, to the scars left by more recent conflicts, and finally, to the rebirth of Dubrovnik as one of the most admired cities in the world. And while the old town is the star, Dubrovnik's charm extends beyond its walls. The nearby island of Lokrum, just a short ferry ride away, offers pine forests, botanical gardens, and hidden swimming spots. The Elafiti Islands, scattered like emeralds across the Adriatic, invite travelers to escape into quiet fishing villages and crystal-clear bays. Together, they make Dubrovnik not only a destination, but also a gateway to paradise. When people think of Croatia, Dubrovnik is often the first name that comes to mind, and it's easy to see why. It represents the perfect blend of history, culture, and natural beauty. It's where the Adriatic Sea meets ancient stone walls, where centuries-old traditions meet modern travelers, and where every corner feels like stepping into a dream. Dubrovnik is more than a wonder of Croatia. It is a wonder of the world, a place that reminds us how powerful and enduring beauty can be. So, as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the Adriatic with shades of orange and pink, one thing becomes clear: Dubrovnik is not just a city you visit, it is a city you feel. A city that stays with you long after you've left. And in many ways, it is the perfect beginning to our journey through the wonders of Croatia. What if paradise had an address? It would be the Dalmatian coast, a breathtaking ribbon of islands and bays stretching across Croatia's Adriatic edge. Explore Hvar, and Korčula. Dive into nightlife, vineyards, lavender fields, and golden beaches. Talk about sailing culture, yacht adventures, and hidden coves only accessible by boat. Make it feel like a cinematic island escape. What if I told you that some of the most breathtaking coastlines in the world aren't found in the Caribbean or the Mediterranean's well-trodden hotspots, but right here in Croatia? Imagine sailing through crystal-clear waters, where every wave reveals a new island paradise, where medieval towns cling to the shore, and where sunsets paint the sky in colors you never knew existed. Welcome to the Dalmatian coast, a stretch of Adriatic beauty so extraordinary that it feels like nature and history conspired together to create perfection. The Dalmatian coast is a dream for travelers seeking both adventure and serenity. With over 1,000 islands scattered across its waters, every destination feels like a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. From the famous glamour of Hvar to the untouched charm of Vis, the Dalmatian Islands offer a rhythm of life that is slower, sweeter, and deeply connected to the sea. The coastline itself is a ribbon of dramatic cliffs, sandy coves, and pine-fringed beaches, while the towns sparkle with white stone houses, red rooftops, and bustling harbors. Whether you are exploring by boat, ferry, or car, this is a journey that will captivate every sense. Let's start with Hvar, often called the Queen of the Dalmatian Islands. Hvar is famous for its chic nightlife, luxury yachts, and historic old town. But beyond the glamour lies a land of incredible natural beauty. Lavender fields stretch across the hills, filling the air with fragrance in the summer months. Vineyards produce wines that have been cherished for centuries, and beaches like Dubrovnik invite you to dive into waters so clear you can see every pebble beneath your feet. As the sun sets, Hvar town comes alive with a vibrant energy, its waterfront glowing with restaurants and cafes, while the fortress above offers sweeping views of the Adriatic, dotted with islands. Just a short distance away lies the island of Vis, a place that feels like stepping back in time. For decades, Vis was a Yugoslav military base, closed to tourism, and because of that, it has remained one of Croatia's most untouched treasures. Here, traditional fishing villages preserve a way of life that has changed little over the centuries. The beaches are secluded, the waters calm, and the pace of life slow. The famous Blue Cave on the nearby island of Biševo is a natural wonder that will leave you speechless. When sunlight enters the cave through an underwater opening, it illuminates the entire chamber in a glowing, surreal blue light. It feels like stepping into a dream. And then there is Brač, home to one of the most iconic beaches in Europe, Zlatni Rat, or the Golden Horn. This stunning spit of white pebbles stretches into the Adriatic and changes shape with the tides and winds, making it one of nature's most fascinating creations. Surrounded by turquoise waters and backed by pine trees and mountains, Zlatni Rat is a paradise for swimmers, sunbathers, and windsurfers alike. The island itself is famous for its white limestone, which was used to build Diocletian's palace in Split, and even parts of the White House in Washington, D.C. Brač is a blend of natural beauty and cultural significance, a place where every stone and wave tells a story. But the Dalmatian coast isn't only about islands. Along the mainland, towns like Makarska dazzle visitors with their unique setting between the turquoise sea and the dramatic Biokovo mountains. The Makarska Riviera is one of Croatia's most scenic stretches, with long beaches, vibrant promenades, and endless opportunities for adventure from hiking mountain trails to exploring hidden coves by kayak. It's a place where the mountains meet the sea in a breathtaking collision of landscapes. No journey along the Dalmatian coast would be complete without experiencing the simple joys of island life. Picture yourself sipping coffee at a harbor cafe as fishermen bring in their morning catch, or enjoying a plate of grilled seafood seasoned with olive oil and herbs, paired with a glass of local wine as the waves lap gently against the shore. Life here is not rushed. It moves to the rhythm of the sea, encouraging you to slow down, breathe deeply, and savor every moment. What makes the Dalmatian coast so unforgettable is not just its beauty, but its harmony. The islands, the sea, the towns, and the people all exist in balance, creating a sense of timeless wonder. It's a place where you can sail under the stars, walk through medieval streets, swim in waters that feel like liquid crystal, and lose yourself in sunsets that seem to last forever. The Dalmatian coast is more than a destination, it is an experience. It's where nature whispers, history speaks, and beauty surrounds you at every turn. And as you drift away from its shores, one thought will stay with you. Croatia has not just given you places to see, but memories to treasure for a lifetime. Some places look like they belong in a fairy tale, untouched by time and surrounded by magic. In Croatia, that place is Plitvice Lakes National Park. Take the viewer through its cascading waterfalls, wooden boardwalks, turquoise lakes, and dense forests. Highlight its UNESCO World Heritage significance, seasonal changes, autumn colors, winter snow, spring bloom, and its role as Croatia's most enchanting natural wonder. What if I told you that one of the most extraordinary cities in the world was built inside a Roman emperor's palace? Imagine walking through narrow streets where ancient stone walls whisper stories from nearly 2,000 years ago, where modern cafes sit under arches that once housed soldiers, and where locals live inside a monument so grand it could rival Rome itself. This isn't fantasy, it's Split, Croatia, and at its heart lies the breathtaking Diocletian's Palace, one of the most remarkable urban spaces on the planet. Split is not just a city, it's a living time machine. At first glance, it feels like a vibrant modern port filled with shops, restaurants, and buzzing nightlife. But as soon as you step into its historic core, you realize you are standing inside the ruins of a Roman palace that has never stopped evolving. Built in the 4th century by Emperor Diocletian as his retirement home, the palace wasn't just a residence, it was a fortress, a temple, and a miniature city. And today, nearly 700 years later, it is still alive, filled with homes, businesses, and everyday life. Walking through the palace gates is like stepping into another world. The Golden Gate, with its towering Roman walls, makes you feel as if you're entering an empire frozen in time. Inside, the peristyle square is the palace's beating heart. Here, massive stone columns rise into the sky, framing a space that once hosted imperial ceremonies and today buzzes with music, performances, and the laughter of tourists and locals alike. At night, the square transforms into an open-air stage where traditional Dalmatian songs echo against the ancient marble, creating an atmosphere so magical it's hard to believe it's real. Perhaps the most astonishing building inside the palace is the Cathedral of St. Domnius. Originally built as Diocletian's mausoleum, it later became a Christian cathedral, making it one of the oldest cathedrals still in use in the world. Climbing the bell tower rewards you with a breathtaking panorama of Split, the terracotta rooftops, the glittering Adriatic Sea, and the islands stretching into the horizon. From this vantage point, you can see how Split is a city where history and beauty seamlessly merge. But Split is not just about the past. It is also about the vibrant energy of the present. The Riva Promenade, running along the seafront, is the city's social hub. Palms sway in the breeze, boats glide across the harbor, and cafes overflow with people sipping coffee, enjoying ice cream, and watching the world go by. The Riva is where locals and travelers alike gather to celebrate life, a place where every sunset turns into a celebration of light and color. For those who love exploring hidden corners, the underground basements of Diocletian's palace are a must. These cellars, once used for storage, mirror the layout of the palace above and are incredibly well preserved. Today, they host art galleries, souvenir stalls, and exhibitions, but their dimly lit arches still carry the weight of centuries of history. It's said that Game of Thrones even used these basements as filming locations, bringing Split's ancient walls into the modern imagination of millions. Beyond the palace walls, Split continues to charm with its lively markets and natural escapes. The Green Market, or Pazar, bursts with the colors and scents of fresh produce, local cheeses, olive oils, and fragrant spices. It's the perfect place to experience daily life and taste Croatia's culinary richness. For nature lovers, Marjan Hill rises just outside the old town, a green oasis filled with pine forests, walking trails, and breathtaking viewpoints overlooking the sea and city. But what makes Split so unforgettable is its unique duality. It's a place where emperors once walked, and now children play, where Roman arches frame modern shops, where history isn't just preserved behind glass, it's alive, woven into daily life. You can dine in a restaurant that occupies the same space where Diocletian's guards once ate. You can sleep in a hotel built inside walls that have stood for nearly 2 millennia. Few places on Earth blur the line between past and present as beautifully as Split. As night falls, Split takes on a different charm. Music drifts from taverns, lanterns glow along stone streets, and the Adriatic reflects the twinkling lights of the harbor. It's a city that never stops moving, never stops living, and never stops reminding you that history is not just something to study, it's something you can touch, walk through, and experience. Split and Diocletian's palace are not simply landmarks to check off a list. They are a journey through time, a testament to human creativity, and a celebration of life itself. To walk here is to realize that some places are not just destinations, they are eternal. Beneath the Adriatic sun lies a city where Roman emperors once walked and left behind their legacy carved in stone. This is Split, where past and present meet in every corner. Showcase Diocletian's palace, narrow alleys, the Riva promenade, local markets, and lively cafes. Blend in the rhythm of Dalmatian life, seaside culture, and its role as a hub connecting islands. What if I told you there's a city where every stone tells a story, where towering medieval walls embrace shimmering blue seas, and where walking the streets feels like stepping into a living fairy tale? This is Dubrovnik, the Pearl of the Adriatic. A city so breathtaking, it has been declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, admired by poets, kings, and travelers for centuries. And today, it stands as one of the most iconic destinations in the world. As your eyes first fall on Dubrovnik from above, the scene is unforgettable. Red tiled rooftops clustered together, surrounded by monumental stone walls that rise proudly against the sparkling Adriatic Sea. It's a vision of perfection, a city preserved in time, where every corner seems designed to captivate your imagination. The story of Dubrovnik begins with its remarkable walls. Stretching nearly 2 kilometers around the old city, these fortifications are some of the best preserved in all of Europe. Built between the 12th and 17th centuries, the walls were designed to protect this proud maritime republic, which once rivaled Venice in power and wealth. Today, walking along them offers one of the most exhilarating experiences in Croatia. From high above, you can gaze down on narrow cobbled streets, picturesque squares, and churches, all set against the endless horizon of the Adriatic. At sunset, the view from the walls becomes a masterpiece, golden light washing over the city, sea and sky melting into shades of pink and orange. Inside the walls, Dubrovnik is a treasure chest of history and culture. The Stratum, the city's main street, gleams with polished limestone, worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. Walking here, you feel part of a timeless procession, surrounded by elegant palaces, monasteries, and fountains that have stood for hundreds of years. Every turn down a side alley reveals hidden cafes, family-run restaurants, and small shops where local artisans keep old traditions alive. Among the city's most remarkable landmarks is the Rector's Palace, once the seat of power for the Republic of Ragusa, as Dubrovnik was historically known. Its graceful arches and Renaissance details reflect the city's rich past as a hub of trade, diplomacy, and culture. The Sponza Palace is another gem, a Gothic Renaissance masterpiece that once served as the customs house and today preserves centuries of history in its walls. The city is also home to stunning places of worship, such as the Franciscan Monastery with one of the oldest pharmacies in the world, still operating since 1317, and the Grand Dubrovnik Cathedral, built on the site of an earlier church supposedly funded by Richard the Lionheart. Each of these sites carries layers of stories, where faith, art, and history intertwine. But Dubrovnik is not only about its buildings, it is about the atmosphere. As you walk through the old town, you hear the echo of footsteps bouncing off stone, the distant sound of church bells, and the lively hum of conversations spilling out from taverns. At night, lanterns glow softly against ancient walls, casting the city in a golden embrace that feels almost otherworldly. For those seeking adventure, Dubrovnik offers more than just history. Take a cable car up to Mount Surd, where breathtaking panoramic views stretch across the city, the sea, and the nearby islands. Or take a boat to Lokrum Island, just a short ride away, a peaceful oasis of lush greenery, hidden beaches, and mysterious ruins that feel worlds apart from the bustling old town. And of course, Dubrovnik has also captured the imagination of the modern world. Its dramatic walls and streets became one of the key filming locations for the global phenomenon Game of Thrones. Fans will recognize the city as King's Landing, the capital of the Seven Kingdoms, making Dubrovnik not only a destination of history, but also of modern legend. Beyond the tourist lens, what makes Dubrovnik so enchanting is its spirit of resilience. Over the centuries, it has survived earthquakes, wars, and sieges, yet it continues to rise, proud and radiant, a city that refuses to be forgotten. Every scar on its walls, every rebuilt street, speaks to the determination of its people to preserve their home for future generations. Dubrovnik is not just a city to be seen, it is a city to be felt. To walk its walls is to feel the power of history. To sip coffee on the Stradun is to experience the rhythm of local life. To watch the sunset over the Adriatic from a stone terrace is to understand why this city has been called a pearl for centuries. It is a place where the sea meets stone, where the past meets the present, and where beauty feels eternal. Dubrovnik is not simply a destination, it is a masterpiece, carved by time, perfected by resilience, and celebrated by all who have the privilege to walk its streets. What if the mountains could tell stories? In Croatia, they do. Rising above the coast, the Dinaric Alps guard some of the country's most dramatic landscapes. Explore Plitvice National Park, adventure sports, hiking trails, and rock climbing. Highlight the blend of rugged mountains meeting the sea, wildlife, and ecotourism experiences. What if I told you there's a place where the sun shines almost all year round, where lavender fields meet turquoise seas, and where ancient stone towns mix seamlessly with glamorous nightlife? This is Hvar, Croatia's jewel of the Dalmatian coast. Known as the sunniest spot in the Adriatic, Hvar is more than just an island, it's a dreamscape that has enchanted everyone from Roman emperors to Hollywood stars. The first glimpse of Hvar often comes from the deck of a ferry, as the island slowly rises from the horizon, bathed in golden sunlight. Red rooftops spill down towards a shimmering harbor, framed by rolling hills, dotted with vineyards and olive groves. It feels like a postcard, yet far more alive. And once you step onto its cobblestone streets, you quickly understand why Hvar has become one of the most sought-after destinations in Europe. The beating heart of the island is Hvar Town, a place where history and modern glamour intertwine. At its center lies St. Stephen's Square, one of the largest piazzas in Dalmatia, paved entirely in gleaming white stone. Here, life unfolds in a timeless rhythm, locals sipping coffee in shaded cafes, fishermen returning from the sea, and travelers marveling at the towering cathedral of St. Stephen's Square, one of the largest piazzas in Dalmatia, paved entirely in gleaming white stone. Here, life unfolds in a timeless rhythm, locals sipping coffee in shaded cafes, fishermen returning from the sea, and travelers marveling at the towering cathedral of St. Stephen. Overlooking it all is the Arsenal, one of the oldest theaters in Europe, dating back to 1612, a reminder of the island's long cultural legacy. But the real magic begins when you wander beyond the square, into a maze of narrow alleys where bougainvillea cascades from balconies and centuries-old palaces whisper tales of Venetian influence. Every turn feels like a discovery, whether it's a hidden wine bar, an art gallery tucked into an old stone house, or a stairway leading to breathtaking views of the Adriatic. And above it all looms the Spanjola Fortress, a medieval stronghold perched high on the hill. Climb to its ramparts, and you'll be rewarded with one of the most iconic vistas in Croatia, the harbor of Hvar, dotted with yachts and the tiny Pakleni Islands shimmering just offshore. Hvar is also an island of scents and flavors. In summer, the air is perfumed with lavender, rosemary, and pine. The island's fields turn purple with blooms, creating landscapes so beautiful they seem painted by hand. It's no wonder lavender has become the symbol of Hvar, with shops selling oils, soaps, and handmade crafts that carry the island's fragrance to travelers around the world. And for those who love food and wine, Italy is in abundance. Local vineyards produce exquisite wines like Plavak Mali, while family-run Konobas, traditional taverns, serve fresh seafood, olive oil, and dishes that reflect the soul of the Mediterranean. But Hvar is not just about serenity, it's also a playground for adventure and glamour. By day, travelers explore hidden coves and secluded beaches accessible only by boat. The nearby Pakleni Islands are a chain of islets that feel like paradise, with crystal clear waters perfect for swimming, snorkeling, or simply basking in the sun. By night, Hvar transforms into a vibrant hub of energy. Its nightlife is legendary, attracting celebrities, musicians, and jet-setters from across the globe. Clubs and beach bars come alive with music, laughter, and dancing under the stars, giving Hvar its reputation as Croatia's island of endless summer. Yet beyond the luxury yachts and buzzing parties, Hvar retains a sense of authenticity. Venture into the island's interior, and you'll find sleepy stone villages where time seems to stand still. Stari Grad, one of the oldest towns in Europe, offers a quieter charm with its labyrinth of alleys, small squares, and waterfront promenade. The Stari Grad Plain, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, preserves an agricultural landscape laid out by ancient Greeks over 2,000 years ago. Walking through these vineyards and olive groves is like stepping back into history, a reminder that Hvar's story stretches far beyond the glamour of today. And then there are the sunsets. Few places on Earth can rival the colors of Hvar's evening skies. As the sun dips into the Adriatic, the sea glows with fiery orange and deep purple, the islands turn into silhouettes, and the whole world seems to pause in awe. For many travelers, these sunsets are the memory they carry home forever, a reminder that Hvar is not just a destination, but a feeling. Hvar is where elegance meets nature, where the past meets the present, and where beauty feels eternal. It is an island of contrasts, ancient and modern, peaceful and vibrant, rustic and luxurious. Whether you come seeking history, adventure, or simply the joy of losing yourself in sunlit streets, Hvar promises an experience that lingers long after you've left its shores. This is not just an island. This is Hvar, the crown jewel of Croatia's Adriatic, a place where every day feels like a celebration of life itself. There's a place where Baroque streets, colorful festivals, and vibrant student life mix with one of Europe's most welcoming cultures. That place is Zagreb, the beating heart of Croatia. Showcase Ban Jelačić Square, upper town with St. Mark's Church, quirky museums, cafes, and street art. Highlight Zagreb's Christmas market, one of the best in Europe. Tram rides and city rhythm. What if I told you there's a city where an emperor built his palace nearly 2,000 years ago? And today, that very palace is still alive, not as a ruin, but as the beating heart of a modern city? Welcome to Split, a place where ancient Rome and everyday life exist side by side in a harmony so unique, it feels like stepping into another world. At first glance, Split may seem like a bustling port city, a gateway to Croatia's islands. But once you set foot inside its historic core, you realize you are walking into history itself. This is Diocletian's palace, built in the 4th century by the Roman Emperor Diocletian as his retirement residence. Imagine that, a fortress-like palace, stretching across nearly 30 square meters, designed not only as a lavish home but also as a military stronghold. And here's the extraordinary part. It has never been abandoned. For centuries, people have lived, worked, and thrived within these ancient walls. Today, Split's locals still shop, dine, and gather inside the palace just as they did centuries ago, making it one of the most remarkable living monuments on Earth. Step through the Bronze Gate, once used by sailors entering directly from the sea, and you find yourself in a labyrinth of narrow stone streets. The echoes of Roman footsteps seem to linger, yet around you are cafes, boutiques, and homes. The centerpiece of the palace is the peristyle, a grand courtyard surrounded by towering columns. It is here that Diocletian once presented himself as a living god. Today, it's a gathering place filled with music, art performances, and travelers in awe of its majesty. Stand here long enough, and you can almost hear the chants of ancient rituals blending with the laughter of modern life. Not far from the peristyle lies one of the city's most impressive treasures, the Cathedral of St. Domnius. Originally built as Diocletian's mausoleum, it was later transformed into a Christian cathedral, making it one of the oldest cathedrals still in use anywhere in the world. Its bell tower dominates the skyline of Split, and climbing its steps rewards you with breathtaking views. The red rooftops of the city below, the sparkling Adriatic stretching to the horizon, and the distant silhouettes of Dalmatian islands. But Split is not just about history, it is a city that pulses with energy. The Riva, Split's waterfront promenade, is where life slows down and comes alive all at once. Lined with palm trees, outdoor cafes, and colorful boats, the Riva is the city's stage. Here, locals sip coffee in the morning sun, children run along the sea, and as evening falls, the entire promenade transforms into a lively social hub. Watching the sunset here, with the sea glowing gold and the palace walls bathed in pink, is an experience that captures the spirit of Croatia itself, timeless, warm, and unforgettable. Beyond the palace walls, Split offers even more wonders. Margin Hill, often called the lungs of the city, rises at the edge of town, covered in pine forests and walking trails. Hike to its viewpoints, and you'll see Split from above. A city wrapped in history, embraced by the sea, and framed by mountains. It's a reminder that in Split, nature and history are always intertwined. And then there is the call of the sea. Split is not only a city to explore, but also a perfect base for adventures. From its harbor, ferries and boats depart daily to the islands of Hvar, Brač, and Vis. Just a short ride away lies the famous Zlatni Rat Beach, one of the most unique shorelines in the world, constantly shifting shape with the tides and winds. For those who love diving into the past, a trip to Vis reveals hidden caves and relics from both Roman and World War II history. Split is more than a city. It is the gateway to the Adriatic's most enchanting journeys. Yet, perhaps what makes Split so captivating is its ability to merge eras so effortlessly. You might sit in a modern cafe sipping Croatian wine, only to realize you're leaning against a wall that has stood since the Roman Empire. You might hear church bells ringing, followed by the distant sound of a street performer playing Dalmatian songs on a guitar. It is a place where every corner tells a story, where every stone carries the weight of centuries, yet the city feels alive, young, and vibrant. As night falls, Split glows with a special magic. Lanterns light up the narrow streets of the palace. Music drifts from wine bars, and the sea breeze carries the scent of salt and jasmine. Locals gather in squares, children play late into the night, and travelers join in the rhythm of the city. The ancient walls seem to come alive once more, as if Diocletian himself. You can't help but marvel at the sheer scale of its defenses. Thick stone ramparts, watchtowers, and bastions that once protected the city from enemies arriving by land or sea. Today, they stand as a proud reminder of Dubrovnik's resilience and power, whispering stories of battles fought and victories won. Walking through the Pile Gate, the main entrance to the old town, feels like crossing into a world where history and magic intertwine. Suddenly, you are surrounded by polished limestone streets that gleam like marble, Baroque churches, and palaces with intricately carved facades. The main thoroughfare, Stradan, stretches straight through the city, a lively promenade where locals and travelers stroll, shop, and sip coffee in open-air cafes. It is a place of elegance and life, where every corner hides a story and every step feels like part of an unfolding legend. And yet, the true wonder of Dubrovnik lies above. Climb the city walls, and you are rewarded with one of the most extraordinary walks in the world. Stretching nearly 2 kilometers, the walls offer a bird's-eye view of red-tiled rooftops clustered tightly together, church spires rising proudly, and the endless Adriatic shimmering beyond. From the Minchetta Tower, the highest point of the walls, the panorama is nothing short of breathtaking. As you walk, you realize that Dubrovnik is not just a city, it is a masterpiece carved in stone and set against the sea. Inside the walls, the treasures are endless. The Rector's Palace, once the seat of power in the Republic of Ragusa, combines Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque architecture in perfect harmony. Step into its halls, and you can almost feel the presence of Dubrovnik's leaders making decisions that shaped centuries of trade, diplomacy, and survival. The Sponza Palace, equally stunning, has stood since the 16th century as a hub of commerce and culture. And then there is the Grand Dubrovnik Cathedral, with its Baroque interior and priceless art collection, including paintings by great masters like Titian. But Dubrovnik's magic isn't confined to stone. The Adriatic embraces the city, giving it life and rhythm. Just steps outside the city walls, you find yourself on the shores of crystal-clear waters. Small beaches like Banje offer a chance to swim with the walls of Dubrovnik rising dramatically behind you. From the harbor, boats depart to Lokrum Island, a green oasis with botanical gardens, peacocks roaming freely, and hidden coves where you can escape the crowds. And for those who want to see Dubrovnik in all its glory, the cable car ride to Mount Seard is an experience not to be missed. As the car ascends, the entire city unfurls below you, the maze of red roofs, the mighty walls, the glistening sea, and beyond, the islands dotting the horizon. At sunset, the view is unforgettable. The Adriatic glowing gold, the walls shining amber, and the city itself bathed in a light so soft and surreal, it feels like a scene from a painting. Of course, Dubrovnik is also alive with culture. Throughout the year, festivals fill the city with music, theater, and art. The Dubrovnik Summer Festival transforms squares and courtyards into open-air stages, carrying on a tradition that dates back more than 70 years. The sound of classical concerts echoing off ancient walls or Shakespeare performed under the stars reminds you that Dubrovnik is not just a relic of the past, but a city alive with creativity. As evening falls, Dubrovnik becomes even more magical. Lanterns glow along the Stradan, casting golden light on the polished stone streets. Musicians play soft melodies, the scent of seafood and Dalmatian wines drifts through the air, and the hum of laughter fills the squares. There is an intimacy to Dubrovnik at night, a sense that you are part of something timeless, part of a story that has been told for centuries and will continue for many more. But beyond the beauty lies something deeper. Dubrovnik represents resilience. It has survived earthquakes, wars, and sieges, yet it stands strong, proud, and more beautiful than ever. To walk its streets is to feel that strength, to be inspired by a city that has faced the worst and emerged as one of the most stunning jewels of Europe. Dubrovnik is more than a destination. It is a dream etched in stone and sea, a place where history, beauty, and spirit come together to create something truly unforgettable. And once you've stood on its walls, watched the sunset over its rooftops, and felt the Adriatic breeze in your hair, Dubrovnik will never leave your heart. This is Dubrovnik, the city that takes your breath away, again and again. Beyond the coast lies a hidden gem, a land of rolling hills, medieval towns, and world-class wine. This is Istria, Croatia's best-kept secret. Highlight Pula's Roman amphitheater, Rovinj's old town charm, Motovun's hilltop beauty, vineyards, olive groves, and culinary tourism. Present Istria as Croatia's Tuscany. Close your eyes and imagine walking through a world where water dances in endless cascades, where lakes shimmer in shades of emerald and sapphire, and where wooden pathways guide you across a landscape so surreal it feels like stepping into a fairy tale. This is not a dream, it's Plitvice Lakes National Park, Croatia's most magical natural wonder and one of the most enchanting places on Earth. Plitvice is not just a park, it's a masterpiece painted by nature herself. A harmony of water, forest, and stone that seems too perfect to be real. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, this national park is home to 16 terraced lakes connected by more than 90 waterfalls, creating a landscape that changes with every season, every hour, every shift of the light. As you enter, the sound of rushing water surrounds you, a soothing symphony that draws you deeper into its beauty. The lakes are divided into two sections, the upper lakes and the lower lakes. The upper lakes are framed by dense forests, their waters a deep emerald green. They feel wild, ancient, untouched, as if they have been hidden away for millennia. Walking along the wooden boardwalks that weave through these lakes is like following secret trails, each turn revealing a new waterfall, a new perspective, a new reason to be amazed. The lower lakes, on the other hand, are dramatic and awe-inspiring. Here, the cliffs rise sharply above the water, and the cascades tumble down in powerful torrents. The Veliki Slap, or Big Waterfall, is the crown jewel, a 78-meter drop of pure energy, the highest waterfall in Croatia. Standing before it, you can feel the mist on your face, hear the roar of the water, and sense the raw power of nature. It is a moment that humbles and inspires in equal measure. But Plitvice is more than just lakes and waterfalls. It is a sanctuary of life. The park's forests are alive with wildlife. Bears, wolves, deer, and rare birds call this place home. You may not see them all, but you feel their presence, hidden in the shadows of the trees, part of the living soul of the park. The air here is pure and refreshing, scented with pine and wildflowers, reminding you that Plitvice is not just a destination, but a living, breathing world. Every season transforms the park into a new wonder. In spring, the waterfalls surge with snowmelt, the forests bloom, and the air is filled with birdsong. In summer, the lakes sparkle under the sun, their colors shifting between turquoise, jade, and aquamarine. Autumn paints the landscape in fiery reds, oranges, and golds, a vibrant contrast to the blue-green waters. And in winter, Plitvice becomes a frozen kingdom, lakes shimmering under a layer of ice, waterfalls turning into crystal curtains, and snow blanketing the trails in silence. No matter when you visit, Plitvice always feels like magic. The wooden walkways are perhaps the most iconic part of the park. They guide you directly across the lakes and waterfalls, bringing you so close to the water that you feel like you are walking through it. Sometimes the path bends around a waterfall, and suddenly you're standing in the middle of the cascade, with water rushing past on all sides. It's an experience unlike anywhere else in the world, a chance to become part of the landscape itself. But there is another way to see Plitvice from above. Trails lead to viewpoints where the entire system of lakes reveals itself like a natural tapestry. From here, you can see how the water flows from one lake to the next, spilling over cliffs and creating layer upon layer of beauty. These views remind you that Plitvice is not just a series of lakes, but an interconnected masterpiece, each part feeding the next, each element working in perfect harmony. And then there is the sound, the constant, soothing, powerful sound of water. At Plitvice, silence does not exist, but neither does noise. The waterfalls create a natural symphony that is both calming and energizing. It becomes the soundtrack to your journey, following you through every step, every view, every discovery. As the sun begins to set, the park takes on a softer glow. The golden light dances across the lakes, the forests darken into deep greens, and the waterfalls sparkle in the fading light. The crowds thin, the pathways grow quieter, and you feel as though Plitvice belongs only to you. In that moment, surrounded by nature's most perfect creation, you realize that this is not just a place to see, it is a place to feel, to experience, to carry with you forever. Plitvice Lakes National Park is more than a wonder of Croatia, it is a wonder of the world, a place where time slows, where nature reveals her artistry, and where every step brings you closer to something eternal. Once you've walked its paths, once you've stood before its waterfalls, once you've breathed its air, Plitvice becomes part of you. This is Plitvice, the heart of Croatia's natural beauty, a landscape of dreams made real, a place that will stay with you long after you leave. Few places balance tragedy and triumph the way Croatia does. Some cities are monuments not just to beauty, but to resilience. Highlight Šibenik with St. James Cathedral, Zadar with its sea organ and sun salutation, and Vukovar with its powerful history. Blend natural beauty with human resilience, music, and remembrance. Picture this. You step off the boat, and the world around you feels like it was designed by the gods themselves. The sun kisses your skin, the air smells of salt and lavender, and the water sparkles in hues of sapphire and turquoise so pure, you'd swear it was unreal. This is not a painting, not a dream, it's far. The crown jewel of Croatia's Dalmatian islands, a place where history, luxury, and natural beauty come together in breathtaking harmony. Hvar is one of those destinations that seems to have it all. Known as the Queen of the Dalmatian Islands, it has been a magnet for travelers for centuries, from ancient Greek settlers to Venetian traders, from Hollywood celebrities to curious wanderers like us today. But what makes Hvar truly unforgettable is not just its glamorous reputation, it's the way it makes you feel. The town of Hvar itself is a masterpiece of stone and light. As you wander its cobblestone streets, you find yourself surrounded by elegant Venetian architecture, charming squares, and a waterfront promenade that glitters at sunset. The main square, Trg Šapana, is the heart of the town, framed by the grand St. Stephen's Cathedral, whose bell tower rises gracefully against the endless blue sky. Just above, the Fortica Fortress watches over the island. Climb up its winding path, and you're rewarded with a panoramic view that will take your breath away. The red rooftops of Hvar town cascading down toward the shimmering Adriatic, dotted with sailboats and framed by the distant Pakleni Islands. But Hvar is not only about history, it is alive with energy. During the day, the cafes spill onto the streets. The markets fill with the scent of lavender and olive oil, and the rhythm of life slows to the Mediterranean pace. Yet, when night falls, Hvar transforms into one of the most vibrant nightlife spots in Europe. From beach bars hidden in coves to world-famous clubs where music echoes until dawn, Hvar has mastered the art of celebration. Still, beyond the glamour and the nightlife, Hvar is a paradise of nature. Just a short boat ride away lie the Pakleni Islands, a chain of small, untouched islets where secluded beaches and hidden lagoons invite you to escape the crowds. Here, time seems to disappear as you dive into the crystal-clear waters, swim among schools of fish, or simply lay back and watch the sunlight dance on the waves. And then there are the fields of lavender, the symbol of Hvar. In summer, the island blooms in endless shades of purple, filling the air with a fragrance so intoxicating it lingers in your memory long after you've gone. Combined with olive groves, vineyards, and cypress trees, Hvar is not just a destination, it is a sensory journey. The taste of local wines, the smell of lavender, the sound of cicadas in the evening, the sight of the Adriatic stretching into forever, all of it stays with you. If you travel deeper inland, you discover a different side of the island. Small villages like Stari Grad, one of the oldest towns in Europe, reveal the island's ancient roots. Here, stone houses and narrow alleys whisper stories of thousands of years of history. The Stari Grad Plain, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a living testament to Greek agricultural planning, preserved for over 2 millennia. Walking through these fields, still cultivated today, is like stepping into another era. But perhaps the most magical experience of all is watching the sunset in Hvar. As the day ends, the entire sky erupts in shades of gold, pink, and violet, reflecting on the water and casting the island in a glow that feels almost otherworldly. People gather along the promenade, at rooftop bars, or on the cliffs of the Poklani Islands to witness this nightly miracle. And in that moment, time slows, worries disappear, and everything feels right with the world. Hvar is not just a destination, it is an emotion. It is joy. It is beauty. It is a reminder of what it means to live fully, to embrace both the calm of nature and the thrill of celebration. Whether you're sipping wine under the stars, exploring ancient ruins, swimming in a hidden cove, or dancing the night away, Hvar leaves an imprint on your soul. This is the Dalmatian dream, the island that never ceases to surprise, inspire, and enchant. This is Hvar, Croatia's timeless treasure, a place you'll never want to leave, and one you'll never forget. And then, there's the ultimate Croatian symbol, the Adriatic itself. More than just water, it's the soul of this land. Wrap up with sailing culture, lighthouses, sunset over the islands, the spirit of Croatian hospitality, and how past and future meet by the sea, leave viewers with inspiration and a call to explore Croatia's wonders themselves. There are cities that you visit, and then there are cities that feel like stepping into a legend. Imagine walking through streets paved with polished stone, surrounded by towering medieval walls that have stood for centuries, guarding secrets of empires, battles, and triumphs. Imagine gazing out over the Adriatic Sea as the sun sets, casting golden light across red rooftops and fortress towers. This is not just any city, this is Dubrovnik, the pearl of the Adriatic, Croatia's most iconic and breathtaking treasure. Few places on earth can match the grandeur of Dubrovnik. As you approach its massive stone walls, rising straight from the sea, it feels like entering a different world. The city, founded in the 7th century, has endured invasions, earthquakes, and wars. Yet it remains one of the most beautifully preserved medieval cities in the world. Today, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, admired by millions who come to walk the same paths once trodden by merchants, nobles, and knights. The moment you pass through the Grand Pile Gate, the magic of Dubrovnik unfolds before you. The Stradun, the city's main street, gleams under the sun, its limestone polished smooth by centuries of footsteps. Lined with elegant Renaissance and Baroque buildings, the Stradun feels alive with history, yet buzzing with modern energy. Cafes spill onto the streets, musicians play on corners, and the air is filled with a sense of wonder. Every step invites you to look up, to notice details etched into stone, to breathe in the living history that surrounds you. But Dubrovnik's true marvel lies above its ancient city walls. Stretching nearly 2 kilometers around the old town, these massive fortifications offer one of the most spectacular walks in Europe. From here, the view is simply unforgettable. On one side, the terracotta rooftops cascade toward the sea like waves frozen in time. On the other, the Adriatic stretches endlessly, a canvas of blue meeting the horizon. As you circle the city, every angle is a postcard, every glimpse a reminder of Dubrovnik's unmatched beauty. The city is a treasure trove of landmarks. The Rector's Palace, once the seat of power for the Republic of Ragusa, showcases Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque architecture in perfect harmony. The Sponza Palace, with its graceful columns and arcades, stands as a symbol of Dubrovnik's role as a thriving hub of trade and culture. The Cathedral of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary, with its stunning interior and priceless relics, whispers of faith and devotion spanning centuries. Yet, Dubrovnik is not only about its buildings, it is about its soul. The city has always been a crossroads, a place where cultures and ideas blended to create something unique. Its maritime republic rivaled Venice in influence, and even today, the spirit of independence and resilience lives on in its people. Walking through its narrow alleys, you sense that you are not just in a city, you are in a living monument to human endurance, creativity, and beauty. Beyond the walls, Dubrovnik is embraced by nature at its most stunning. The Adriatic coastline here is dramatic, with cliffs plunging into turquoise waters and islands dotting the horizon. Just offshore lies Lokrum Island, a lush haven of pine forests, botanical gardens, and hidden beaches, a perfect escape for those who want to step away from the city's energy and find serenity in nature. And for the ultimate view, take the cable car up Mount Sard. From the summit, Dubrovnik reveals itself in all its glory, the old town encircled by walls, the islands scattered like jewels in the sea, and the vast expanse of the Adriatic stretching into eternity. Of course, no mention of Dubrovnik would be complete without acknowledging its place in modern culture. Fans of film and television will instantly recognize its streets and fortresses as the setting of epic battles and fantastical kingdoms. Yet, standing there in person, you realize that Dubrovnik needs no fiction, it is already a fantasy come to life. And then, there's the moment that seals the memory forever, the sunset over Dubrovnik. As the sky turns into a masterpiece of orange, pink, and violet, the city glows like molten gold. The waves shimmer below the walls, the bells ring in the distance, and time itself seems to pause. It is in that moment that you understand why Dubrovnik is not just a place to see, it is a place to feel, to experience with every sense, to carry in your heart long after you leave. Dubrovnik is the perfect finale to a journey through Croatia. It embodies everything that makes this country extraordinary: history, carved in stone, nature at its most breathtaking, and a spirit of resilience and beauty that transcends time. To walk its walls, to hear its stories, to watch its sunsets, is to be part of something timeless. This is Dubrovnik, the pearl of the Adriatic, a city of legends, a city of dreams, a city that will forever hold a place among the greatest wonders of the world. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels, and see you in the next video.